There are two types of HIV, HIV Type 1 and HIV Type 2. Both have similar symptoms. One major difference, however, is that HIV Type 2 is less virulent and less easily transmitted.
People who are infected with HIV Type 2, they don't go down to get AIDS as fast or as quickly as those who are infected with HIV Type 1. In fact, there are many people who are infected with HIV Type 2 who will not die of HIV Type 2, but they may die of their old age.
HIV Type 2 is not found in Uganda and mostly concentrated in West Africa. So then what kind of HIV do we have in Uganda?
So HIV Type 1 is the most common virus globally, and is the one we find in Uganda. And that one has a number of what we call subtypes.
HIV Type 1 has about 9 different subtypes ranging from A, B, C to K. In Uganda, people are mostly infected with subtype A and D. Research going back many years has shown that these subtypes have been here a long time.
If you get samples from, let's say, south of Uganda, Masaka area, we have slightly more subtype D than if you take samples in Kampala, in Entebbe, and northern Uganda, where we have slightly more subtype A. But interestingly, HIV subtype A is found in many other parts of Africa and some parts of Europe, but subtype D is a little bit less widespread.
Historically, subtype B has been common in Europe, the Americas, Japan and Australia. Subtype C is predominant in southern and eastern Africa, India and Nepal, and has caused the world's worst HIV epidemics. Subtype D is generally limited to East Africa. Other subtypes are spread unevenly across the globe. In Uganda, while there are no new HIV strains, scientists say there are cases where one individual has been infected with more than one subtype.
So we get many strains that are what we call recombinant viruses, where we have a virus that one part looks like an A, is an A, and another part of this same virus is a D. These are what we call recombinant viruses. And we have seen these recombinant viruses again for some time.
Research has, however, shown that all these strains can respond to treatment the same way, with a few exceptions.
That you may be infected with one strain of virus, yeah? And if you don't continue behaving properly, by bad chance you could be infected with a resistant virus, what we call superinfection, and that will not be good for you. This is not common, we should not alarm people, but that's possible.
But this isn't the only concern for scientists. Other studies done in South Africa and ongoing research in Uganda indicate that people who have been infected with more than one strain of HIV will develop symptoms of the disease and die faster if they do not get treatment. The many strains of HIV have also made it difficult for researchers to find a vaccine that is broad enough to be effective against all the strains. While there's no new type of HIV in Uganda, scientists warn that the increasing risky sexual behavior could start a new HIV epidemic that is even harder to treat. Anna Tkunda, NTV.